Good morning. First, I would like to introduce the other two board members from the Gregory Foundation that are here with me today. That is Karen Mills and Heidi McCree. And I'd like to tell you, first of all, that as board members of the Gregory Foundation, we do the scariest thing on the planet. We used to think it was the coolest thing, you know, when the idea came that we were going to get to give away OPM. OPM is other people's money. And that sounds really neat, but when you think about it, that's a huge responsibility. It's a tremendous responsibility, and we were concerned. We were like, how are we going to decide what we do? And Mr. Gregory, who I never met, but my understanding was a excellent businessman, despite a lack of education. We thought, you know, in the spirit of making decisions, I think we need to do it like a business person. And we all decided that's how we were going to do it. We're going to look at it, and we're going to look at it like how Mr. Fernandez might look at it when he was looking at making an investment with somebody's money at Morgan Stanley, or Mr. Sanchez might look at it when he's making an investment as a banker to do it. So we decided that's what we're going to do. We're going to evaluate this based upon business decisions. And so one of the first things we decided was, how are we going to keep score? You know, with a business, you keep score by how much money you make. That's easy. But when we're talking about doing this, how are we going to keep score? How are we going to measure our ROI, return on investment? And we decided what we were going to do was we were going to measure it based upon the impact that money made on people's lives. How much can we change lives with Mr. Gregory's money? So the first thing that we did is we decided we're going to measure potential for growth. If you're looking at a company and they've peaked out and they already have about as much market share as you think that they can get, that company's not going to grow that much. If it's a startup and it's just beginning and they've got less than 0.1% of their market share, there might be huge potential for growth. But let me tell you, the students that we have met that have been recipients of Gregory scholarships, the ones that were our particular ones, overwhelmingly more than half of them were first-generation students. The students at HCC, I know that at least a third of them are all first-generation students. What does that mean? That means they're the first people in their family to go to college. That's the kind of thing that breaks a cycle. That's the kind of thing we're looking for. Potential for growth. The second thing is we want to see a track record. You know, if a company is going to be successful and I'm going to invest in it, I want to see that that company, you know, has been successful thus far. I don't want to invest in a company that's losing money. Well, these students that the foundation has selected to receive Gregory's scholarships have all shown a track record of perseverance and fighting through obstacles and getting their grades anyways. So we definitely feel like we see a track record there. One of the things that I always like to see in a company is some type of employee participation, okay? One of the things that people always brag about Publix all the time is that all their employees that have been there for a while have stock in the company, they're invested in the company, they feel as though the success of their company is part of what they do. They're involved in it, okay? Well, every student that I've met that received a Gregory Foundation scholarship works. They work a job. Some of them work 2 jobs. Some of them work and take care of siblings or take care of elder family members that are with them, or maybe they're married and they have children. These are all people who are participating in their lives, making things happen. I'm going to digress for a second and say you see these things on Facebook about spoiled college students and all they're trying to do is, I don't know. I don't know where those are. Not in this room. In this room, what you have are people who are dedicated towards changing their lives, and they are participating in the success of the company that we are Amen. And I guess, actually, I liked what you said, Ms. Sanchez, when you said, in a world of sink or swim, they're all choosing to swim. And they're choosing to swim despite how hard the current is flowing and how deep the water is. So when we started thinking about ROI and what we could do, we ended up here at HCC. Mostly, actually, from the strength of Karen and Heidi and the things that they had noticed. We do a lot of scholarships in different areas, the Gregory Foundation does. And candidly, $25,000 at University of Tampa, which we do, is a wonderful investment. But in terms of ROI, return on investment, $25,000 at HCC creates 10 full scholarships. 10 full scholarships. That's way different. That's like buying penny petroleum stocks with huge opportunities to increase so much, I can't tell you. The students that we have met, and today we got to meet Jacob and Shannon and Michael that received our scholarships, and I'm sorry that the student wasn't here because, well, actually, probably it's a good thing because I'm such a softie. I would end up here with tears down my face and everything else because that's how good not one person's story is. All of their stories are that way. So we were thinking, for just $2,500, somebody who's a first-generation student who's working one job besides being a full-time student, taking care of maybe their own child or their siblings, from a family that is first generation, they're going to break the cycle and have the education. Wow, what a chance to make an impact on lives for just $2,500. We thought that's huge ROI. That's exactly what we're looking for. We're looking for a return on investment in Mr. Gregory's money. So we met with Donna and Steve, and I made the mistake of saying, how could we increase the impact on this? Because everybody always wants a bigger, no matter how much money, Mr. Fernandez tell you, no matter how much money you're making for your clients, they're always going to want to know, hey, how could we get even more return? Maybe we should have bought more of that stock or, what have you. So we asked them, what can we do? And they came up with the classic business solution. If you've got a great investment, how do you make more money on that investment? You leverage it. You use OPM. We're going to leverage it. This is what we're going to do. So, thus the creation of the Gregory Match. And what we did is we said, we're going to take $25,000 and those aren't going to go to Gregory scholarships. We want to use that. No, we want you, the HCC Foundation, to use that money to leverage other people's investment with the idea that these other people, now I was just talking about the amazing impact that you can have on somebody's lives and change it for $2,500. Nope. For the first $25,000 that comes in, you can make a huge impact and change for $1,250. Because we'll match the other $1,250 up to $25,000. So for $1,250, you can change people's lives. To me, that represents an incredible return on investment. USF and UT are wonderful institutions, and we will continue our support at those institutions. But I can't go to USF or the University of Tampa and totally change someone's lives for $1,250 and do that. So with that in mind, there's an envelope on your table, okay? And despite whatever the Gregory Foundation contribution is, The greatest thing about these envelopes is they have a little box you can check and use your credit card, okay? And what I'm going to ask you to do is to take out that envelope and make some contribution. But what I really want you to do is decide that you are going to change a life and write down $1,250, and we're going to match it, okay? And when I sit down, I'll write down my own name, not the Gregory Foundation, and I'll write down $1,250 and put my credit card. And I'm going to ask that all of you do that. Now, does that mean if you're not going to give $1,250, don't put anything on the envelope? Not at all. These students' lives are changed and impacted with amounts far less than that. In a world of sink and swim, sink or swim, let's help them all swim. In a land that is changing all the time, and we desire, we hope, we strive in the United States, no matter who you are, that we're a meritocracy. That's what we want. We want people to rise to a level based upon their talent and their work ethic and what they put into it, not how they were born. And education is the one thing that we need to provide an equal platform for. Change a life, please, and write something down on the envelope. Thank you very much.